Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have come to the last part of this chapter, explanation of devotional service by Lord Kapila to his mother Devahuti. So here in this verse we are seeing the arrangement by the Lord just through one of his energies known as Kala, time factor. In fact, it is said the Lord personally comes as time factor. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravriddho. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I will come as time factor, as Kala, and I'll destroy everything. So here, it's not only about destruction, it's about creation and maintenance also. This material world is continuously being created, maintained and destroyed. Everything happens under the control of Kala or time factor. And how does the Supreme Lord, through his time, the element of time, how does he create? How does he destroy? Is it that he personally comes and he has to kill everybody, or he has to personally come and create each and every living entity? No. He has made a wonderful arrangement. What is that arrangement? So here we see Prabhupada in the purport, nicely he mentions, by the influence of eternal time, which is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Father begets a Son, and the Father dies by the influence of cruel death. Goes on. So how? The Lord, he doesn't have to come and create every individual living entity. He has made an arrangement. All living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But in this material world, the way we see, there is a Father, he begets a Son. The Son is not equal to the Father, maybe in terms of age, experience, many things. As time passes, the Father dies, the Son, he becomes bigger, grows, and he in turn begets a child. Again it continues. The child, he grows, he becomes the father, and he begets a child. There may be a certain case, the same father who was dead and gone, later the same dynasty, he'll come again. Just like we hear about Maharaja Prataparudra. He is one of the descendants of King Indradyumna. If you go to Jagannath Puri, we hear the pastimes of in Chaitanya Charitamrita, who originally constructed the Jagannath temple, Maharaja Indradyumna, a very great devotee. He himself in the same dynasty took again birth as Maharaja Prataparudra, we hear. So likewise, we are all living entities, but there is an arrangement made how the father begets the son, and the father feels for the child, oh, this is my son, my children, I have to take care of them. It is my responsibility to take care of them. That attachment is there, that belongingness, ownership is there. And the father carries out his duties based on this attachment, ownership and closeness, intimacy, all of these things. And whatever the child requires, it gets. So in due course of time, through whatever passage of time, influence of Kala, the son grows, the father gets him married, the father becomes old and he dies. Now the son, he is the father now, he takes care of his son. It goes on and on and on. Not only in human species, all living entities, 8.4 million varieties of species, this arrangement is there. So here we can see the intelligence of the Supreme Lord. It cannot be compared to anyone. Just like many of us, we speak of when we people, especially those who are atheists, who don't believe in God, they think, oh, everything is happening by nature. See how this is there, that is there. Or especially the modern day world, we have found out this, that. Science and technology has improved so much scientific advancement we have made, so many different kinds of machinery, artificial intelligence, we are so much developed. People boast about these things. I'll read out one not conversation, it's a part of a lecture by Srila Prabhupada given in Bombay in 1972. With a very beautiful analogy, Srila Prabhupada compares the creation of God with that of what we human beings, what we create. How much difference is there? Let us see. Now here is the difference between God and human being. We are also part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have got all the qualities of God, but in very, very minute quantity, because we are very minute. The intelligence is also minute. Everything is minute. So we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is infinite. We are infinitesimal. He is Vibhu. We are Anu. He is a supreme whole. We are the part and parcel. There is difference. And there is oneness also. So this is how it's explained by our acharyas. We are all qualitatively one with God, but quantitatively different from God. So here we are trying to understand about the intelligence. We say, we are very intelligent, especially human beings. The modern day man, intelligence has reached the summit. So many things we have found out. All of these things we say. But can our intelligence be compared with the intelligence of the Supreme Lord? So here is an example. Let us see. Prabhupada says, somebody was talking with me that why should we give more credit to Krishna or God? We are also manufacturing things. It is something like watch or a clock. You wind it, there is a spring, and it will go on. Similarly, it is going on, everything is going on. So there is no difference between God's intelligence and our intelligence. See, this was the argument which was placed in front of Prabhupada, that we are also intelligent, we also create things. See the example of watch or a clock, not maybe this digital clock, earlier that huge clock with we have to give a chavi, a key, the spring will be there, it will get wounded, and then the clock keeps working. So some mechanism arrangement we have made through which the clock continuously keeps running. So whatever intelligently we have created such things. Now, let us see the reply by Prabhupada. That was his argument. So I replied, Prabhupada says, yes, there is no difference so far intelligence is concerned. But God creates one male and female, and thousands and millions of living entities are coming out of those two, male and female. But you cannot manufacture a male watch and a female watch, so that by those two watches you can produce innumerable watches. God has just created one male and one female, and an arrangement is there. Whatever creation continues, millions and millions of living entities are being created. But what have you done? Have you created one male watch and female watch so that by their combination, whatever, they'll create another set of watches? No, you personally have to create another watch. So that's the argument. But you cannot manufacture a male watch and female watch so that by those two watches you can produce innumerable watches. That is not possible. That is in God's hand. So you have to prepare each and every watch. Whereas if God wants to manufacture watches, then He will make one male and one female, and out of them many millions of watches will come out. That is the difference. So we cannot compare our intelligence with God's intelligence. Although qualitatively we are both the same. It's a very beautiful example. Though we may say qualitatively we are same, all the features of the Lord, everything is there, but we are minute, infinitesimal. Our intelligence is limited. Our capacities, energies, abilities, everything has got limitation. To whatever extent the Lord empowers us, to that extent we can go ahead in the matter of creation or maintenance or destruction, because creation, that's also there. As human beings, we may create our progeny, we may say. We may create one house, we may maintain one family, and ultimately we may destroy many things. But our creative maintaining abilities are all limited. Based on our karma, how much ever the Lord has empowered, we are able to create. A small bird creates one nest on top of a tree. A small ant somewhere in the corner of the room, a small hole, somewhere it creates one house there. So we may create big skyscraper buildings. Prabhupada calls it as pigeonholes. Big trees there, different holes are there, different birds will go and stay there making it their homes. Likewise, big skyscraper buildings, nothing but bigger size of whatever pigeonholes we are building. But activity, what we do there inside is the same. Ahara, nidra, bhayamaitunam cha, samamyametat pashubhirnaranam. Same activities of eating, sleeping, mating, defending, we do it, but in a polished way, in a more sophisticated way. That's it. But the activities are the same. So here lies the difference between we living entities and the Supreme Lord. So this is what, say in this verse, we can see this point being mentioned in the Sanskrit verse. Janam janena janayan. Janam means living entities or persons. Janena, by other persons. Janam janena janayan are being created. How? Every parent, see, this is how every parent, they feel the responsibility for the child and take care of the child. So it's not that the Supreme Lord has to come and personally take care of each and every one of us. Of course, that's also He is ready for that. Through His pastimes in Dwaraka, He personally showed it. He is able. 16,108 wives He married. 16,108 palaces He built. And in each of those palaces, personally He was there taking care of His wife, His children, and all other things. He was completely engrossed and involved in whatever so-called family affairs. So that's also possible by the Lord. But we are all fallen, conditioned souls. We wanted to enjoy independent of the Lord. So this arrangement is there, this material world, and He has left us here. And what about this world? Very interestingly, Srila Prabhupada, I'll read the translation. This material world, what is that? It is the translation. The eternal time factor has no beginning and no end. It is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maker of the criminal world. Srila Prabhupada calls this as the Supreme Lord. He is the maker of the criminal world. So this world where we are living, it's a world of criminality. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was telling, Prabhupada quotes this material world is not a place for a gentleman to stay. It's a criminal world. Just I went to the dictionary in trying to understand what criminality or what is this criminal, what does it mean? Unlawful, illegal, against the law, illicit, illegitimate, law-breaking, lawless, nefarious. See, these are the synonyms of the word criminal. So this material world is like this. It is nefarious, law-breaking, unlawful, lawless, illicit, illegitimate. This is how this material world is. However, we want to lead a good life, peaceful life, not wanting to hurt others, but it is created in such a way that if one living entity has to survive, he has to step over or whatever, jivo jivasya jivanam. One living entity survives by killing or eating another living entity. That's how it is created. It's a world of criminality. It's a criminal world created by the Lord. Now one may question, why? That means the Lord's creation is something defective? He doesn't know how to create it nicely without this criminality? The answer is no. He has created the spiritual world also, where there is no criminality. It's a world of love, full of loving exchanges. That's there, and He's calling, come back to me. But we are patient. We want to stay here. Just like yesterday, we were hearing how even a worm in the stool, it thinks, I am comfortable here. It is conditioned to stay in such filthy places. And you try to remove it away from that, no, again he crawls back and tries to enter it back. Why are you disturbing me? He'll try to get back into that filthy place. This is how this material world is created. So the only way out is to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So to conclude, Prabhupada writes, a devotee does not desire anything in this material world. It's a world of criminality, temporary world. Whatever big achievements, anything we do, everything will be nullified, or everything will just be put into dust. So a devotee does not desire anything in this material world. A devotee desires only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the only desire. If at all a devotee, his focus is towards going back to Godhead. If at all, like say, still we are not eligible, we are still made to stay in this material world, a devotee's only desire is to serve the Supreme Lord till the time he remains in this material world. So here Prabhupada writes, a devotee does not desire anything in this material world. A devotee desires only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This servitude exists eternally. The Lord exists eternally. His servitor exists eternally, and the service exists eternally. These are the eternal things which are there in the material world also, through which we can connect, because we are all spirit soul, we are all eternal. Na jayate mriyate va kadachit. We are eternal. So anything temporary will never give us real happiness. So if at all we want to connect with eternal, something eternal, so these things are there. The Lord is eternal. The service, the servitude or the attitude of service is eternal. The servitor, we living entities, we are eternal, and the service is eternal. The service exists eternally. We need to connect with these things. So, see, it's a very important, very highly philosophical statement made by Prabhupada here. If at all, like say, let us, how to apply this principle in our personal life. If we can divide it, say how it can be made applicable in our daily lives. We have to check, say day by day basis, like say, are we connecting with eternal, something eternal, means with the Supreme Lord. On a daily basis, have I rendered some devotional service to the Supreme Lord today? Or did I end up engaging or whatever, taking away all of my time in activities related to my sense gratification? We need to check. And also we need to check, have I taken the medicine given by my spiritual master to maintain my servitude, the attitude of service? Because having come to this material world, we are now in diseased condition. What is that disease? All of us, we want whatever lording over tendency. We want to boss over others, lord over other living entities and resources available in the material world. This is the disease what we have. So today, have I taken the medicine required to bring back my consciousness to the servitude of the Supreme Lord, to develop my service attitude towards the Supreme Lord? So this we need to check on a daily basis. That's specifically referring to our sadhana. Have I finished my chanting of my minimum rounds, prescribed rounds? Have I done my reading today? Participated in kirtana, partaken prasadam, offering obeisances to the Lord, all of these things. So this is how we need to connect back to the eternal by developing our service attitude. And are we taking medicine properly? And have I avoided things which are detrimental to my devotional service? Have I consciously tried to avoid offenses? If at all knowingly, unknowingly I have committed some offenses against some devotees or whoever it may be, have I begged for forgiveness? So these things a devotee need to check. So through these things we can connect with the Supreme Lord who is eternal. Otherwise we'll be completely subjected to his feature known as Kala, the time factor, which continuously keeps creating, maintaining, destroying, and each destruction brings so much of fear, so much of anxiety, pain for a living entity. So to come out of the clutches of Kala, definitely we have to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. We'll conclude with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,